All right, so we don't have the cooling lines in yet because I need to replace the elbows that are under here, but I want to get these out and I need to clean them out. They got some junk in them, and we are going to relocate this radiator because if I leave it here, it's going to get all smashed up, guaranteed. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of raise it and kick it back. I want to bring the back of it pretty much up in here and kind of slant it going this way. And so in order to do that, we're basically just going to take the radiator out first, and I pretty much have it all unbolted. We just got to undo the hoses, get the hoses off, get those hard lines out. We're going to get those cleaned out, and then we're going to get this radiator mounted in here and figure out what we're going to do with hard lines, because we might need to change some things and take those on and off a few times. So there's no sense in installing all the hard lines underneath when we don't have it finalized. So I guess this is the next project until we get the motor parts and get the motor going back in, but the next fabrication project is to relocate this radiator. TV magic or something, isn't it? Okay, so we're gonna cut this cross member off. If you guys can't tell, this car has been smashed in the front. It's totally jacked up. The frame rails are all skirted this way, so I don't feel bad about cutting this thing up one bit. So we're actually going to end up probably cutting the frame rails off right here where they connect to the rest of the body, because these things are so tweaked and we need to get them out of the way, because we're just going to build a structure to hold the front bumper, and that's pretty much all it's going to do. The rest of it will be in here to support the radiator. So I need to salvage this guy because I'm going to use the bottom of it, because the radiator has those pockets for this. So I'm going to cut this guy out of here. We're going to save that. I need to get wiring out of the way. But yeah, so we'll save this piece. And then I think we're going to go ahead and just start by hacking those frame rails off of this thing.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
So I think we're done for tonight. This is it. I mean, I gotta figure out a top mount. I think I'm gonna come off of these two little bolts right here, and then come up over to here, make some sort of bracketry, and that thing will be in there solid. So there's gonna have to be a huge, man, this is gonna be an issue probably, but yeah, I don't know. There's gonna be a huge hole in the hood, so this sucker can breathe. It's gonna have to be as wide as the radiator pretty much, so that the air can go through. It's gonna have to scoop down, and so the air can go whoop and out. So that's gonna be the plan. So it turned out pretty easy for this too. Here's our coolant tubes. basically just, I cut a big chunk out of them. We'll reclock them. We'll get a couple of 90s. Bam. Same on this side. Reclock it over, get a 90. Bam. Okay. Let's put this down. Yeah, look at that. It's up in there. So that's pretty good. That's very protected. But yeah, we're gonna have to basically cut a huge hole in the hood, probably from here, come across here like this, probably about as wide as the radiator is. So probably right where these guys are. Cut it way up and just bend it, stuff it down so it's like a scoop, so the air will go through the radiator and up out the hood. So hopefully that works. I'm thinking it will. I mean, we got a pretty big opening. We got this clearance all the way out. It's like a huge mouth. And then there's even a bunch of room under here. You know, it goes all the way through there. Ooh. I need to do a little bit more cleaning up on that. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the front. I just gotta make that top mount. Gotta do that top mount for the radiator, do the metal hoses. It'll be done, but it's hot. I'm tired. I'm gonna call it a night. That's the top mount. I got it all welded in here. I just took this little piece of scrap sheet metal I had over there. It already had one slight bend in it, so I put another bend in it and messed with it for a while. I welded these studs on here because originally the bolts come through this way and threaded into this shroud for the fans, and it would have been super hard to get the bolts to come through the back side of this. So I decided to drill those out, and we welded some studs on. So now we're going to pull this off. I'll show you what I've done on the bottom, and we're going to need to do some gusseting on the bottom there. So, but this should come out easily. I haven't taken it out yet since I just welded that in. So should come right out. Let's see. Okay, so all you should have to do is do that. Yep. Okay. Ooh, okay. It's a bit of a squeeze. Not too bad though. Not too bad. Okay. So now that we got that out of there, we did all this, and you know, I want to come in here. I just want to put a gusset. I want to add a little. Well, actually, dang, we have room for a gusset. Yeah, it'll be a thin sheet metal gusset, but I just basically want to double this up down here. On these edges, and then maybe actually tie it into over here, bring it up this way a little bit further or something. So I'm gonna make some sort of gusset for there, and then we'll start getting that cleaned up and weld that in. This support, or this bracing that I added in here, turned out real good. It welded up without, you know, blowing too many holes in the super thin stock sheet metal, and I think that's super strong now. I got no problems with that. Plus this rigid upper mount is gonna keep it from really pushing down on there anyways. And it's just, you know, rubber isolators that stick into there, or rubber mounts to hold it. So I think that's good. The only thing we gotta do now to finish this project up is these are the tubes, the coolant tubes, and we need to put the radiator back in here and then clock these to where we want them, mark them, weld them up. right, there we are. Coolant hoses are hooked up and ready to go. This thing is bolted in, plugged in. It's ready. Cooling system is getting closer. I still have to put these coolant tubes in there, but I have the hoses for that already. And what I did to make these, I thought I was gonna have to use 2 of these to make this, or 1 to make this one and 1 to make this one, but I actually was able to just cut this in half and make both hoses. So that's a plus. Now I got an extra where I can return it. But yeah, these 2 go underneath, and then we'll be 1 step closer to hooking it to the engine. Okay, so it is hot, super hot out here, but we got this hood done and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm going to put a little bit of body filler on it, you know, to fill in anything in the corners here, like just a couple little pinholes, and then in here, you know, you can only smooth it so much. So we'll putty up that crack there and fix it up and do a little bit of sanding on it, but I mean, honestly, we could even just paint it the way it is. So that's going to allow the air to run through here, which is into the what was originally the Fronk, the front trunk, and through the radiator and up out the hood. So hopefully this is efficient enough to cool the 2GR. So yeah, I am pretty happy with how this is going. We're almost done with the cooling system. The next thing we got to do, which I'm going to try to get done today, is install the heater hoses and radiator hoses, which I have right here. So I think they're going to take some trimming and whatnot, but we get these guys on and then we can pretty much call the cooling system wrapped up. So that's my goal, get this cooling system wrapped up today. Good morning, everybody. I'm on the last radiator hose. I didn't get it done the other night. I was super bummed that I couldn't check that off my list, but today I've got the hose itself, and we actually have to extend it a little bit so it fits properly in the car. So we got this guy here, which I hope doesn't fail on me in the future, but we're gonna get this put together, get it put in the car, and then we'll finally be done with the cooling system. Okay, there it is. That's our spliced piece. This runs down to the tube that runs up to the radiator. One of the hoses even came with this little corrugated guard, so I put that on there since it's kind of up against the firewall there. Heater hoses, all of it's done. The other hose is super hard to shoot, so I didn't really get in video of putting it in. It's right there, and it looks like I need to put the clamp on. Forgot the clamp on that side, so. But yeah, I think that's gonna call it for this video. We got a ton of work on this radiator, you know, this whole system from start to finish. It actually took me over the course of a couple weeks. It wasn't just a couple days. Radiator, just to recap, we got our radiator in. We got it relocated into the trunk here, or the Fronk. We cut out all of this in here. Same with under here, down that way. We cut all that out so we get some airflow. We shortened up these hard lines so that would fit. All the electrical and stuff, we just took it out and pulled it in here, and it all plugged in for the fans. We built this upper mount, we built the lower mount. We built this scoop here so that the air can flow through the radiator and up out the hood. We got the bottom lines hooked up. We got all the radiator hoses hooked up. Heater hoses, all of it. So this thing, cooling system is done. Let's go ahead and, this is my terrible, crappy little list we got going here. But that's done. I gotta find some O2 sensors and some other stuff, but we're working on it. All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.